So, I stopped having sex. It's been like 3 to 5 years since I had sex last. And let's back up before the 3 to 5 years so I can give you a lowdown and it will all come together. I've been sharing my testimony on this page. I was married to a narcissist, and subsequently I'm divorced from said narcissist. We have 2 kids together who I love dearly and would do anything for. But if you have ever married, dated, divorced, been linked to a narcissist in any capacity, whether they are a family member or a lover or a partner, you know that is a living hell. So if you can only imagine being divorced and divorcing a very controlling narcissist, it's even more of a living hell and a living nightmare. And I was married for about 8 years, and my ex-husband put me down with so many rude comments during our marriage, and I literally put up with so much because I thought, like, once you get married, it's a wrap. You're going to stay married for life. Because my parents are still married to this day. They've been married for over 30 years, probably almost 40 years, and are somewhere around 40 plus years. And I just thought, like, once you get married, that's it. You're just going to stay married, and that there's no divorcing. I'm not Catholic by any means or any other religion that doesn't want you to be divorced, but I just didn't want to be a failure, and I felt like so much of my identity was wrapped up in being a wife because my mom was a wife and a homemaker. And shout out to all the homemakers because they are the real ones and they're doing all the work. I always thought, like, I take so much pride and joy in this, and this is my identity. And I didn't have an identity outside of that. So when I went through my divorce, not only was I divorcing someone that was very controlling and narcissistic, even after our divorce, he wanted to control my sex life. I went on one cruise with a girlfriend of mine, and we went to, like, the Bahamas. It was like a little 3-day cruise from, like, Charleston. It wasn't anything big. And I needed that cruise and that vacation so much. It was post my awful divorce for a few years. My kids had just went to go live with their dad. I felt like a shell of a human being for so many reasons. For my divorce, for my kids not wanting to live with me and they wanted to live with their dad, and now they're there. So I was at my lowest, and my friend knew that I needed a vacation. So we went on vacation. And as soon as my ex found out that I was on this said vacation and didn't bring my girls, our daughters, he was like, you shouldn't take any more vacations without your kids. Like, how dare you do this, blah, blah, blah. And a barrage of text messages and mean comments about me taking 3 days that weren't my weekend to see the girls, that was my weekend to myself to take a cruise. Mind you, I had a job and worked very hard to get to where I am today and where I was at that time post our divorce. And that divorce also sent me spiraling. Not only was my self-worth so low from being a teen mom and being the only teen mom in my family, then my self-confidence and my worth even plummeted so much more when I went through my divorce. Then my ex put me through hell, so I really thought I was this worthless human being. Like, why am I here? So many times I did want to commit suicide. I didn't ever really attempt to because I always wanted to be here for my girls, and I couldn't imagine not seeing them every day and not being there for them. So I put up with all the verbal and emotional and mental abuse for years. But it really sent me on a spiral where I didn't have any self-worth. I didn't have any confidence. And I stayed so much to myself. I became just a shell of a human being and a corporate robot where I'm going to work And all of that put me in a very vulnerable situation in life to be taken advantage of by men that were very manipulating and made big promises. And my naive, dumb self listened to those fake promises. I got into situations with men that didn't even care for me during the sexual experience or afterwards. I sat myself down one day, like during COVID, when we all had like time to reflect on our life. And, you know, even though I was working, and I'm very grateful and thankful that I had a job and never got laid off during COVID, but it gave me the time to spend with myself every single day, whether I was working or not. And I got to ask myself the tough questions. How are you doing today? What are you doing with your life? Is this going to help you succeed in life and help you get to where you want to be in your overall goal? And I think it was at that point that I realized I was on a trajectory of self-destruction. And in order for me to get to my goals in life, like ultimately I would love to be married to the perfect man for me in my life, and I would love to be his perfect spouse as well. I knew that I was not going to get to my overall goals of that and focusing on myself and my worth and my self-love by having sex with casual men or casual sex with random men. Side note, I was in relationships, semi-relationships, situationships with these guys, so it wasn't like I was doing a bunch of one-night stands or anything like that, and I wasn't having sex with multiple partners at once, and I was being safe, but I just wasn't enjoying it. These men didn't care for me, I didn't care for them, and it didn't enhance the sexual experience one iota. And I decided it was time for me to stop having sex with random men. And now I am saving myself for marriage. Yes, I am almost 42 years old, but I still believe in love. And I know the perfect guy is out there for me. And we just have to randomly bump into each other at the freaking grocery store, Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or the farmer's market. I also, around this time, stopped online dating. And I think that's really helped me as well. I have no desire to hook up with random men or really even settle at all for anyone that's not willing to give me what I want out of life. And so I'm sharing my story in hopes that it reaches somebody that is in the same position as me. I just feel like sometimes I'm alone in all of this. And I love hopping online and making these videos and sharing this with my community. I feel like I'm in the biggest group chat ever and that I'm able to be so vulnerable with you guys. And I thank you guys for giving me this space to be myself. I'm going to go on a dog walk with my dog and enjoy the rest of my day. And I love y'all. Thank you.